So you're trying to move up?
Got it there. Thanks, buddy. All right, sorry about that, folks. I had a little bit of issue here. We are in the first period here, 10 minutes, 21 seconds. The score is 0-1. Edmonton is up by 1. And my apologies on the delay. There was a little bit of technical difficulties getting this going. So as play resumes here, we've got Agbay out there with Caitlin Flanagan, Hewer, Bowman, Martin, and Beltire again down by 1 here. This is sent across by Edmonton, cleared out. That puck's going to not quite make it to the line. Chased down by Flanagan, picked up by Martin, sent up and kept in by Edmonton. Edmonton pulling it around. Good play by Agbay to get her stick on it as she's taken down to the ice. And now Edmonton with a shot blocked by Grund. Edmonton in the corner. Sent around and up top into the slot. Over top of the net, picked up by Martin. Martin's going to just send it around and be picked up by Edmonton at the blue line and sent back forward.
Aaron says it doesn't look like you're live yet.
It should be on now. I just restarted it. And Dobbs picking that puck up in and sending it out to neutral. Picked up by Edmonton in neutral. Edmonton going across. Now Martin. Martin going off the board, looking for Palucci. Right below us. Edmonton now back in their own zone. Edmonton coming up through neutral. Finds their mark offsides to stop play. 8 minutes, 49 seconds. Again, apologies on the delay in the start for those just joining. We're 8:49 in the first. Edmonton's up 1-0. Lucci, Dobbs, Kazarowski, Morton, McKenzie on ice for Beltire. Lucci now shifting back to McKenzie. McKenzie up to Morton. Morton sending it deep into the Edmonton zone. Chased down by Palucci in the corner at the half wall and comes out to neutral. Flanagan picking that puck up, going wide to Kazarowski. Kazarowski moving it up the board, looking for Hewer. Edmonton gaining possession in their own zone. And we're going to end up with a penalty here on Beltire after the play. Not entirely sure what happened, but we will go on to a penalty kill.
Trying to get away from a hook,
So we're going to have Agbay, Dobbs, Martin, and McKenzie out for Beltire to start the penalty kill. Sending it around, picked up by Agbay. Agbay is going to chip it out into neutral. 8 minutes on the clock. Dobbs chasing. Stepped up. McKenzie grabbing that puck. And she's tripped on the play. Twice tripped.
That's not a trip.
No call for Beltire there. We're going to have a draw happening just outside the Edmonton zone. 7 minutes, 49 seconds on the clock.
Don't trip.
All right, puck's down, up to Agbay. Martin sending it down in deep. It's off the glass and goes to the opposite corner. Beltire goes for a change. Clemens jumping in. Agbay, Caitlin Flanagan, Martin on ice for Beltire. Edmonton gaining the Beltire zone. Drop pass missed its mark. Flanagan's going to send it deep. Can be played by the Edmonton goalie and played up into neutral. Clemens on the defense here. Now Martin. Drop pass by Edmonton. Up the half wall, off Martin's stick. Misses its mark, and Edmonton circles. Edmonton dropping. Flanagan on the hunt in the corner. Edmonton out front. And that pass disrupted by Martin and Kazarowski. As we resume play here, we're going to have Dobbs out with Agbe, Morton, McKenzie. And that puck is down. Edmonton up at their point. Now down in the corner. And Edmonton now down at the point. Chased down by Agbe. Agbe clearing the puck. 6:35 on the clock. There should be about 30 seconds or so left. Edmonton regrouping in their own zone, sending it ahead. Chased by Cruciano. Up at the point, Edmonton. Cruciano. Cruciano walking the entire blue line, gaining possession of the puck momentarily. Flanagan sending it up the boards. Half wall picked up by Edmonton. Edmonton centering pass, missed its mark, goes wide. Beltire back to even strength. Hewer on ice. Beltire clearing. Too many men. And Palucci gets a jump on an errant pass. Send it across to Cruciano. Cruciano couldn't quite get the shot off. Down into the corner is Hewer. Now picked up by Palucci behind the net. Martin, Caitlin Flanagan on ice for Beltire defense. That was Cruciano, Palucci, and Hewer. Edmonton coming up the boards. Martin on defense here. Now chased down by Cruciano. Cruciano hit into the boards. And we're going to freeze play. As play resumes, we've got Martin down in the corner, sending it up the half wall. And that puck's going to make its way free into neutral. Edmonton playing D to D. Going up ice, gaining the zone for Beltire. This is going to be chased down by Edmonton. Sending it back up to the point. Intercepted by Agbe. Agbe now one-on-one. Agbe, draw back, and gets tapped by Edmonton. Kazarowski in to help. Chipped in by Edmonton. That's going to roll down for an icing. All right, as we get resumed here, 4 minutes, 48 seconds on the clock. Hewer on the draw. Palucci out with Clemens. McKenzie, Morton. Edmonton through neutral. Played wide. Chased down by Morton. Edmonton off Morton's skate. Edmonton back and forth. And we're going to have the net off here to freeze play. As the game gets going again, McKenzie's going to send it up the wall, picked up by Edmonton at the point. Edmonton behind the Beltire net. Chipped ahead into neutral. Palucci trying to play it on the backhand. Palucci playing it out. Picked up by Clemens. Clemens ahead looking for Hewer. Missed their stick. Intercepted by Edmonton. Morton on D. Edmonton coming through. Played aside, and now we're going to get a tripping penalty on Morton. So Bell Tire is going to go back on the penalty kill here with 4 minutes and 11 seconds remaining in the first period. We will have an ice cut between the first and the second period today. So Dobbs on the draw, out with Agbay, McKenzie, and Martin. Edmonton won that back to their point. Edmonton circling. Gonna go down deep, chased down by McKenzie. Flipped back up the wall by Edmonton, chased by Agbay. Wide pass by Edmonton, shot in, covered up by Grund, and Martin getting into it.
And you can call penalties on the white team too. It's allowed. There are 2 teams out there.
All right, as we get going, Dobbs on the draw, put down, face down by Dobbs, sent up the line, picked up by Edmonton at the point. Across, Agbay riding hard into the wall, freezing play, picked up by Flanagan and sent out. It's going to be picked up by the Edmonton goalie and sent ahead. Bell Tire on a change. Hewer stepped in on ice with Palucci, Caitlin, Bowman. Edmonton at the half wall, shot in. Goes cross crease, picked up by Hewer on the half wall. Trying to chip it ahead. And is going to be sent back in by Edmonton. Cross across. Palucci with a disruption on the play there. Edmonton on the backside is going to put it in to make this a 2-0 game.
Net's off. And the net's still off. You can ignore me, but it's still off. There you go. About 5 minutes ago.
All right, as the game gets going again, we'll be at 3 minutes remaining in the first period. Cruciano, Kazarowski, Clemens out with Martin and Flanagan, McKenzie. Edmonton going rink wide through neutral. Gaining the zone, chased down by Flanagan, sent around, picked up by Martin behind the net. And Martin picking that up, going to Kazarowski. Kazarowski kicking it around to the corner. Up the wall goes Edmonton. Edmonton now up top, chased by Clemens. Clemens on the half wall with Kazarowski. Kazarowski back to Flanagan. Flanagan's going to go up ice. Going to be on net. Oh, no icing. And this is now coming back the other way. Picked up by Edmonton in neutral. Chased down by Palucci. Coming clear. Martin going up the boards. Finding Palucci here in neutral. Kicked in and Palucci interfered with. And now up through neutral. This is going to be picked up by Martin. Martin circling. Martin coming up ice and is going to miss the mark for an icing. 1 minute and 45 seconds remaining here in this first period. After we restart, we will have Morton out with McKenzie, Hewer, Agbay, and Palucci. Puck is down. Edmonton down in the corner in the Bell Tire zone. Around behind the back of the Bell Tire net. Hewer went down kind of hard up against the boards. Edmonton out front. Shot blocked by Palucci. Chased down by Morton. Now Hewer at the half wall. Back into the corner goes Edmonton. Edmonton looking for a centering pass. Missed that puck. Sent up top. Back to the half wall. Back up top for Edmonton. Centering pass intercepted by Morton. Cleared out by Hewer. Over to Agbay. Agbay off the wall and is going to send it deep as she goes for a change. Clemens jumping on with Kazarowski. Bell Tire is down a player. Kazarowski going across, finding Clemens in neutral. Clemens trying to gain the zone. Comes across, 47 seconds remaining here. Dobbs sending it ahead. Too many men on the ice. All right. Edmonton going down deep, gets a shot off, goes wide of the net. Picked up by Edmonton off the half wall. Drop pass by Edmonton. Clemens getting the puck out. And Dobbs clears. 20 seconds remaining here in this first period. And we're going to have an ice. All right, on ice for Bell Tire is going to be Cruciano, Hewer, Bellucci, Caitlin Flanagan, and Martin. Hewer on the draw, puck's down, picked up by Edmonton, shot wide of the net, cleared around by Martin, off of an Edmonton body right behind the Bell Tire net. Chased down by Hewer and Flanagan. Hewer over to Martin. Martin sending it up ice, looking for Bellucci. And that is going to be the end of the period. I believe we will have an ice cut here. So we'll be back in 10 minutes. All right, we're back for period 2. Hopefully everything works out technology-wise. Bell-Tire down 0-2, looking to even this game out here on ice. Dobbs, Kazarowski, Agbay, Martin, and Caitlin Flanagan. I'm sorry, Mackenzie Flanagan. We're going to get going here. Off the draw, Dobbs picked up by Edmonton, sent down deep by Flanagan for an icing. Draw is going to happen in the Bell-Tire zone. Dobbs to take it. Grundon net for Bell-Tire. Puck is down. Edmonton off the draw. Dropping it back to their point. Chased down by Agbay. Kick through. Looking is Dobbs. Finally cleared through is Agbay. Out to neutral. Chipped in by Edmonton. Sent aside. Chased down by Martin. Shot in. Edmonton wide of the net. Edmonton back up top. Drop pass. Picked up by Agbay. Now Hewer. Hewer through neutral. Hewer shot in on net. Goes wide. Clemens in for Bell-Tire. Clemens down deep in the Edmonton zone. And sent around by Edmonton. Popped out front. Edmonton to clear. Edmonton into neutral. Chased down by McKenzie. Flanagan sending it around the boards. Edmonton picked up. Blocked by Hewer. Cleared out to neutral. And now Martin sending it ahead for Palucci. And the puck is now in Edmonton zone up to neutral. Cleared to the side. Picked up by Flanagan. All right, Bell-Tire is going to go back on their penalty kill here. Third penalty kill for Bell-Tire in this game. 13 minutes, 36 seconds on the clock. It's going to be Palucci in the box. On ice for Bell-Tire is going to be Dobbs, Agbay, Morton, and Caitlin Flanagan. Puck is down. Edmonton dropping back to the point. Going across. Bell-Tire circling. Edmonton down in deep. Disrupted by Morton. Picked up, out, back up top. Edmonton circling, and that errant pass. Picked up by Dobbs. Dobbs gets it up for the point, or it's collected by Edmonton. Edmonton back and forth here. A little bit of a bad pass is wide of the net. And Flanagan sending it up the boards. They're trying to look for Agbay. Edmonton down in the corner, battling with Morton. Edmonton coming across, blocked by Agbay. Agbay gets a stick on it and clears that out for Bell-Tire. She's going to go for a change. On jumps Kazarowski. Edmonton back on the hunt here. Edmonton blocked by Morton. Morton backhanding it up the wall, trying to get it cleared. Down to the half wall. Kazarowski now with it. And that puck going across for Edmonton. That shot blocked by Flanagan. Blocked by Hewer. Down into the corner. Onto the half wall. And sent across. 12-11 on the clock. Sent in. Blocked by Grung. And Flanagan now with it. Going to freeze it up on the boards. And Edmonton jumping in, trying to get it cleared. Morton's going to send it down the ice to clear the zone for Bell-Tire. Picked up by Edmonton's goalie. Bell-Tire on a line change now. Martin, McKenzie, Cruciano, Dobbs in. Puck goes wide of the mark for Edmonton. Picked up by Martin. Martin off the half wall. Bouncing puck collected by Edmonton. At the half wall here. Bell-Tire back onto full even strength. Shot is going to go in to make this a 0-3 game. So Bell Tire down by 3, has some work to do to dig out of the hole. 11:29 on the clock, plenty of time to do it. Clemens out with Cruciano, check that. Agbe, Dobbs, Clemens, Martin, Mackenzie Flanagan. Dobbs on the draw. And Agbe down to Flanagan. Flanagan circling. Flanagan up the wall, gains the zone momentarily, comes back out. Now Martin to defend. And Martin and Flanagan on this puck. And that is off. Everybody can see that. That puck is net is way off. And the puck is down in the Edmonton. And we're finally going to get the whistle stoppage to fix the net. As play resumes here, we're going to have Bowman out with Caitlin Flanagan, Hewer, Bellucci, Cruciano. Flanagan down in the corner. Picked out by Edmonton. Edmonton up the wall. Send it back down deep into the corner. Edmonton cycling. Send it around the net. Cruciano to chase. Cruciano getting it up the boards. Bellucci getting her stick on it as Edmonton sends it back deep into the Bell Tire zone. Edmonton behind the Bell Tire net. 10:35 on the clock. Edmonton out front. Backhand shot wide of the net. Goes to the corner. Chased down by Bowman. And now Hewer. And that puck's going to clear that Bell Tire zone. Edmonton regrouping in the neutral zone. That's going to be offsides. As we get back underway here, we're going to have Morton, Flanagan, Dobbs, Agbe, Kazarowski. That puck goes into the Edmonton zone, chased by Kazarowski. Behind the Edmonton net, rink wide, stepped up by Morton. Morton gets her stick on it, chips it ahead to Kazarowski. And cleared by Edmonton. That's going to go the length of the ice. No icing, and sent around by Flanagan. Chipped back in by Edmonton. Morton on the wall, down in the corner. Chips it ahead for Dobbs. Dobbs trying to get it out. Dobbs now clearing up center. Kazarowski got his stick on it, and we're going to get an icing. .9:37 on the clock. Bell Tire line change is going to bring in Caitlin Flanagan, Martin, Bellucci, Cruciano, and Clemens. On the draw is Bellucci. Goes up to the blue line, sent down deep by Edmonton, picked up by Flanagan. Flanagan took the head, gets it out into neutral, picked up by Edmonton in their own zone. Down into the corner, chased by Clemens. At the half walls, Edmonton. Chased down by Bellucci. Edmonton sending it back down behind their own net. Clemens pinning it on the wall. And Edmonton walks out up through neutral. It's going to be defended here by Martin. Got that shot in and collected in by Grunner. We got a Bell Tire line change. Agbe, Dobbs, Hewer, Martin, Flanagan. On the draw is Dobbs. Puck's down, one to the corner. Picked up by Martin. Martin sending it around. Collected in by Edmonton. Up to the point, shot in. Turned aside by Grun. Chase down. Edmonton off the post. 8:46 on the clock. Edmonton in the corner. Chased by Dobbs. Out front. Shot blocked by, it might have been Agbe. And coming up ice out of the zone We're gonna have an offsides call. As play resumes, we're going to have Mackenzie, Flanagan, Bowman, Kazarowski, Dobbs, and Agnew. Puck is down. Bowman sending it up into neutral, collected by Edmonton in their own zone. Edmonton sending it ahead through neutral, chipped into the Bell Tire zone, chased by Bowman. Bowman coming around the backside of the Bell Tire net, picked up by Dobbs on the half wall. Kept, and a little bit of shenanigans right in front of the Edmonton bench. On ice, we are going to have Morton, Flanagan, Palucci, Clemens, Cruciano, and Edmonton having some fun before the face-off. Puck is down, and Edmonton rink wide and neutral, sending it ahead. Picked up by Palucci off the back wall. Morton coming back the opposite way. Flanagan picking it up, going ahead to Clemens. And we're going to have a Bell Tire power play. 7 minutes and 50 seconds in the second period. So we will have a face-off in the Bell Tire zone. Hewer to take this draw. Palucci and Agbe out with Martin and Flanagan. Puck's down, dropped from Agbe to Martin. Martin walking, off the bend of her stick. Comes out to neutral, picked up by Martin. Martin sends it up to Hewer. Hewer dumps it back down deep into the Edmonton zone, chased by Palucci. And up top, Martin picks it up, goes across to Flanagan. Flanagan drops over to Hewer. Hewer collects. Hewer to Flanagan. Flanagan to Hewer. Hewer walking in, dropping down low for Palucci. Palucci trying to go back up top for Flanagan. Comes out of the zone. Bell Tire's going to have to regroup. And that puck comes out now. Palucci in with Agbe. Palucci's shot is going to be gloved and rolls out of her glove. Martin over to Flanagan. Flanagan hits Hewer. Hewer back up to Flanagan. Flanagan's shot in is going to hit Agbe. And Edmonton's going to clear. Should be about a minute remaining here in the the power play for Bell Tire. 6:44 on the clock. Clemens circling her own net. Clemens coming up ice, hitting Dobbs. Cleared back into the Bell Tire zone. Picked up by Flanagan. Flanagan behind the net. Flanagan going up top, finding Kazarowski off her stick. Gets sent back deep into the Bell Tire zone. This is going to be picked up by Martin. Martin going across to Flanagan. Back to Martin. Martin coming up ice. Martin going up, finding Dobbs. Dobbs sending it deep. Going to go behind the Edmonton net. Kept in by Flanagan. McKenzie trying to drop to Kazarowski. Picked out by Edmonton. Edmonton now in a one-on-one with Martin. Cleared by Martin and Grun. Up top. Too many men on the ice. That's all right. Cleared out by Clemens. And out to neutral. Edmonton gains the zone. Defended by Martin. That shot wide of the net. Edmonton at the half wall. Martin. And that puck's cleared out to neutral. Edmonton sending it back in, picked up by Flanagan. McKenzie circling, sending it back up, looking for Agbay. Agbay gets a stick on it now. Hewer with a little bit of room. Shot is blocked, picked up, and dropped back. Edmonton gains the zone, defended by Morton. Edmonton in. Quick shot is going to be blocked and covered up by Grund and net. 4 minutes, 51 seconds remaining in this second period. As play resumes, we are going to have Morton out with Flanagan, Kazarowski, Clemens, and Cruciano. The puck is down. Kazarowski sending it around, picked up by Edmonton, cleared out by Cruciano. And Edmonton now going rink wide, coming up through neutral, off the board, sending it deep, foot race for Morton. Morton now kicking around, trying to find the backside. Kazarowski sends it around to the half wall, and it's sent back down deep by Edmonton. Rolls around behind the Bell Tire net, chipped ahead by Morton. Battle ensuing in the corner. And Clemens fighting to try and clear that puck. Edmonton sends it down deep to the opposite corner, picked up by Flanagan. Flanagan backhanded it up to the line. Cruciano clears it. And Bell Tire is going to go back on.
And that's 5 penalties to 1 now. 5-1, ref. It wasn't foul.
All right, Bell Tire is on the penalty kill here. We're going to have, looks like Hewer in with Flanagan, Agbay, and Martin. Hewer down in the corner. Now Martin switching. Edmonton up top. Edmonton circling. Bell Tire. Hewer gets her stick on it, gets a jump. Hewer now in a foot race, going down into the Edmonton zone. And that puck is sent around. It's going to be picked up by Martin. Bell Tire is going to go on to a 5-on-3 here. 3 minutes and 10 seconds. Injured player on the ice for Edmonton. All right, Edmonton player is up off the ice. So as we get going back underway here, we're going to have Agbay out with Caitlin Flanagan and Martin. 5-on-3. Or I'd say roughly 30 seconds here. 3 minutes and 10 seconds. Agbay on the draw. Edmonton up top. Edmonton circling. Edmonton here. Blocked out by Grund, and that's going to be in to make this a 4-0 game. So that'll bring Kazarowski out of the box, and Dobbs is going to step in on ice. The Bell Tire will be on a penalty kill here for the next minute and 40 or 50 seconds or so. 3 minutes on the clock. Puck's down, one back by Dobbs, chased by Martin. Martin's going to pick it up and send it around the boards. Picked up by Flanagan in the corner. Shot in by Edmonton, goes wide. Bell Tire on the penalty kill. Up top by Edmonton. Edmonton walking in. Blocked aside by Grund. Down into the corner. Flanagan chasing. Edmonton walking out. Edmonton up top. Blocked by Martin. And Martin into a little bit of shenanigans. And now we got a full-blown fight happening down in the corner. Martin and Agbay in the center of it.
Hey, look who's cheering over there.
And
They put all of Bell Tire in the box. Put them all in there.
I don't even care if they're your daughter's series. It's gross to be on the same side. Series.
all right, we'll see what happens after this. Agbay's going into the box. I think that's all that's going to come out of it. 2 minutes and 54 seconds. I think the ref's talking about what's going on. I believe as things get going, we are going to have the Hewer penalty clear, and then we will be 5-on-5. So right now, Bell Tire is still on the penalty kill, offsetting penalties on Bell Tire and Edmonton in the fight. So we'll have Dobbs to take the draw. Puck is down. UFC match, I'm sorry, hockey is back underway. McKenzie strips the puck, sends it deep. We should have about a minute here remaining. Bellucci down, Bellucci chasing. Bellucci down in the corner. Edmonton coming back out. Bellucci stripping the puck. And coming across into neutral. Chased by Bellucci, now Morton. Morton slowing the puck. Drop pass by Edmonton. Cleared by Bellucci. That's going to slide the length here. Picked up by Edmonton. Clemens out with Kazarowski. Flanagan. Pass out front. Net's off. Net is off. And Edmonton going across. Shot in is going to be blocked by Grund. Chipped out by Kazarowski. Collected by Edmonton. Sending it wide. Looking for a centering pass. Blocked by Morton. Edmonton circling. Deflected by McKenzie. Kept in by Edmonton. Flanagan now trying to get a twist on it. And finally cleared. Beltire back to even strength. Fewer in for Beltire. Out front is going to be an Edmonton player to make this a 5-0 game. All right, 55 seconds remaining in the second period of play. On ice for Beltire is going to be Hewer, Cruciano, Bellucci, Martin, and Bowman. Back underway. Hewer tied up at the dot, muscling that Edmonton player to the ground. Chased by Martin. Martin going up the boards. And Martin now coming up ice. Half wall. Sending it up off of the Edmonton player. It's going to roll deep into the Edmonton zone. Chased by Cruciano. Sent around by Edmonton. Off the wall. Up to neutral is Edmonton. Drop pass. Sent across. Picked up by Dobbs. Sent up the half wall. Bellucci clearing the puck. And that'll be the end of the second period. All right, as play resumes, we're going to have Agbay out with Dobbs, Hewer, Martin, Flanagan. 15 minutes. Last period of play for Beltire in Minnesota. Puck is down. Battle right inside the circle here. And Edmonton coming down. Shot wide, defended by Martin. Martin behind the net with Dobbs. Picked up by Flanagan. Flanagan going up ice at the feet of Hewer. Now picked up by Agbay. Agbay gaining the zone. Hewer turning up ice. Picked up, kept in by Martin. Sent down deep as the line goes to change for Beltire. Edmonton coming out of their zone, coming up into neutral. Chased down by Kazarowski and into the Beltire bench. As we get back underway here, that was Palucci on the draw. Mackenzie Flanagan in, up to Palucci. Now Caitlin Flanagan up with Kazarowski. Flanagan's shot is going to be gloved by Edmonton. 14:06 on the clock. Morton and Bowman in with Kazarowski, Palucci, and Flanagan. Puck is down. Sent around the wall by Edmonton, up into neutral, kept in by Bowman. Right below us, Bowman battling, and with Kazarowski, Edmonton gaining the zone. Morton on defense here. Morton, great stick block behind the net, picked up by Palucci. Palucci to Flanagan. Flanagan with a quick move into neutral, up to Kazarowski. Kazarowski gaining the zone off the legs of Edmonton as she goes for a change. Coming up ice. Bowman on D here, picked up by Morton. Morton's going up ahead, finding Agbe. Agbe gaining the zone. Agbe dropping to Dobbs. Dobbs going across, looking for a Hewer. Goes wide of the net. And Dobbs now sending it in on net. Gonna freeze play. 13:11 on the clock. Dobbs, Hewer, Agbe, Martin, and Flanagan on ice for Bell Tire. Dobbs on the draw. Puck's down into the corner of Edmonton zone. Sent around. Picked up at the half wall. Chased by Agbe. Cleared up. And down into the Bell Tire zone. Chased down by Flanagan. Flanagan into the corner. Sent around. Picked up by Dobbs. Dobbs up the wall. Edmonton up at their point, sending it across. Defended by Agbe. Agbe with a blocked shot and sent through. Flanagan down in the corner, sending it up top, across. Off the skate of Hewer. And coming back down is Edmonton in neutral. It's going to be defended by Martin. Drop pass by Edmonton. Shot in. Turned aside by Grun. Chased by Martin into the corner. Cleared around is Palucci. Up top is Edmonton, wide of the net. Morton going to send it back to Martin. Martin looking up top. Martin going up to Clemens. Clemens clearing it up to Palucci. Palucci to Clemens, down deep into the Edmonton zone. Chased by Flanagan. Bowman and Morton on for Bell Tire D. Edmonton gains the zone. Chased by Morton. And Clemens coming back to stop the quick rush. And Edmonton now down to the corner. Palucci sending it up the half wall, picked up by Edmonton. Edmonton down in the corner, sent it behind the Bell Tire net. Quick pass out front is deflected and blocked, cleared by Clemens. Down the ice. That's going to roll for an icing. 11:25 on the clock. We are at a running clock now. As we get going again, Bell Tire's going to have Dobbs out there with Kazarowski, Cruciano, Martin, and McKenzie. Puck is down. Edmonton at the half wall, sending it back up top to their point. Kazarowski with a blocked shot, sending it down deep. Bell Tire's going to clear that puck. Cruciano's going to be in a foot race. Cruciano chasing Edmonton behind their own net. Cruciano down into the corner. Battling hard. Dobbs in to help try and pick that free. Cruciano, Dobbs, Kazarowski, Martin, Flanagan. Puck is stuck and finally worked free. Comes out, picked out by Flanagan, rolls out to neutral. Flanagan up to Kazarowski. Kazarowski rink wide. And that's going to get sent deep by Cruciano as she goes for a change. Hewer stepping back in with Clemens and Palucci. Puck cleared up the boards by Edmonton. 10:23 on the clock. Sent ahead. Picked up by Martin. Martin off the boards. Finding Palucci. Palucci now out to Clemens. Clemens trying to get a step. Hewer stepping in. Hewer backhand goes wide of the net. Bellucci dropping it back for Morton. Morton trying to keep it in. Morton cleared up. And Edmonton now in through neutral. Bowman in a foot race with Edmonton. Shot in, turned aside by Grund. Picked up by Bowman behind the net. Bowman up the half wall, finding Clemens. Hewer stepping in just below us. Clemens and Hewer trying to clear the puck out. Edmonton coming out with it, sending it up ahead. Rolls behind the Bell Tire net, chased by Morton. Back up top for Edmonton. Bellucci gets her stick on it, turns and clears. That's going to roll the length for an icing wave. 9:25 on the clock. Bell Tire line change. Caitlin Flanagan, Dobbs, Cruciano, Martin in for Bell Tire. Martin with the puck. Martin going across to McKenzie. McKenzie up to Caitlin. This is her stick, picked up by Edmonton. That cleared back in through neutral by Bell Tire. Now Flanagan up the boards. Comes out through, and Edmonton back into neutral. That puck coming across, cleared out by Flanagan. Up to the point, Cruciano looking to battle, and Dobbs gets it cleared. Edmonton now, Martin in a foot race with Edmonton coming back into the zone. Shot wide of the net, picked up by Cruciano on the half wall. Cruciano cleared out to neutral. 8:33 on the clock. Edmonton back into neutral. Defended by Martin. And cleared up the boards by Edmonton. Back down into the corner. Martin with the play out to neutral. Edmonton retreating into their own zone. Sending it ahead. Hewer getting her stick on it. Bellucci coming through. Bellucci now on a break. Bellucci shot in. Is going to be gloved by Edmonton with 8:03 on the clock, which is now not running. The play stoppage, we're going to have Morton, Bowman, Dobbs, Bellucci, and Kazarowski out for Bell Tire. Up top to Morton. Morton shot in, going to be turned aside by Edmonton. Picked up by Kazarowski in the corner. Kazarowski keeping it down, keeping it low. Dobbs in to help. Picked up at the half wall by Edmonton. Now in neutral. Edmonton through neutral. Gaining the zone and covered up by Grund. 7:42 on the clock. Line change for Bell Tire. McKenzie, Flanagan, Martin out with Caitlin, Dobbs, and Clemens. As the puck goes down, Edmonton with the puck. Shot in, turned aside by Grund. Chased down by Martin in the corner. Edmonton up. Martin kicking it ahead. Martin now with a little bit of a break. Martin turning the corner, shipping it ahead. Chasing herself. Down behind the net goes Clemens, Martin, Flanagan. Clemens in the corner. Edmonton with the puck now. Down deep, playing it behind their own net. Chipping it ahead. Into neutral, picked up by Flanagan. Flanagan. Chipping it ahead. It's going to clear through neutral, go down into the Edmonton zone. Chipped back up by Edmonton. Martin stepping up. Martin disrupting the play in neutral now. Edmonton in the zone. Martin disrupting that play. Picked up by Cruciano. Behind the net, Cruciano rolling through. Up to Hewer. Hewer jamming it ahead into the Edmonton zone. 6:40 on the clock. Hewer to chase behind the net. On ice for Bell Tire now is Morton, Bowman, Bellucci, Hewer, Cruciano. And a collision by Edmonton is going to leave two of their players on the ice, finally getting up and skating off. Morton sending it ahead to Bellucci. Bellucci down in the corner with Edmonton. And now Edmonton, we're going to keep the camera over here. .6:02 on the clock. I believe Bell Tire's going to go onto a power play here. Sorry for not following the game. Palucci was getting hit while she was on the ground in the corner. I wanted to make sure we had that video for Palucci's sake. So Bell Tire's going to go on to a power play here. And we're going to have Caitlin out with, we're going to have Hewer, Dobbs, Kazarowski, Flanagan, Martin. 6:02. Hewer on the draw. Drop back for Martin. Martin going across to Flanagan. Flanagan dropping down to Hewer. Bell Tire setting up their play. Flanagan. Martin. Martin. Looking for Hewer. That puck misses its mark. And Edmonton now on the rush back the other way. Chased down. Deflected by Flanagan. Down into the corner. Trying to pick it free is Hewer. Hewer grabs it free. Goes up the half wall. Picked up now by Dobbs. Dobbs sending it ahead. Dobbs getting it shot off. All right, play stoppage with the net off. So we've got Dobbs, Palucci, Kazarowski, Flanagan, and Martin. Dobbs on the draw. Edmonton won it back. Picked up by Flanagan. Flanagan circling. Flanagan chipping it ahead to Dobbs. Dobbs gaining the zone. Down into the corner. 5:10 on the clock. Sent around. Picked up by Martin. Martin going across to Flanagan. Flanagan turning up ice. Flanagan now in neutral. Chipped ahead to Dobbs. Dobbs dropping it back to Flanagan. Bell Tire trying to set up. Shot in. Cleared out by Edmonton. Out through neutral. That's going to roll into the Bell Tire zone. Sent across to Martin. Martin with the puck. Going back across to Palucci. Palucci circling. Palucci turning up ice. Palucci gaining the zone. Palucci in the slot, almost going towards the slot. Now drops back for Mackenzie Flanagan. Flanagan to Palucci. Palucci sends it in. Chipped by Clemens, looking for that redirect on the half wall. Up to Flanagan. Flanagan's shot in is going to be covered up by Edmonton. 4 minutes, 17 seconds. Should be about 20 seconds or so remaining in the penalty for Bell Tire. Cruciano, Clemens, Palucci, Edmonton with the puck in their own corner. Clemens trying to chip it around. Palucci on the half wall, dropping it back down for Cruciano. Out through center. Clemens trying to keep her stick on it. Breaks free. Flanagan now. Flanagan across to Martin. Martin going up. Martin gaining the zone. Martin through the middle. Going to the corner. Uses an edge in the corner and puck goes up the half wall for Edmonton. Out to neutral. Hewer chipping it back out, making Edmonton re-tag. Edmonton down the side here, sent around. This is going to be picked up by Martin. He's going to clear it up the boards. That's going to roll down its way, and not going to be an icing. That's going to be waived. 3 minutes and 25 seconds remaining. On ice is Hewer, Kazarowski, Flanagan, Bowman, and Morton. In through, Morton clears. Hewer clears up ice. And interrupted by Kazarowski in the pass across the middle. Edmonton gaining the zone, coming around. Shot's going to go off the post. That puck's down into the corner. Edmonton coming through. Shot is going to go up the crossbar. And now Edmonton in the corner. Coming up, and it's going to come out. And it's going to be an offside. It's 2 minutes, 38 seconds remaining. The Bell Tire line change is going to bring out Dobbs, Clemens, Bellucci, McKenzie, and Martin. Down to Martin. Martin coming across, trying to hit Clemens on the breakout, and rolls for an ice. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining in the period. Puck is down, and that puck cleared by Flanagan, down behind the net, picked up by Martin. Clemens now. Edmonton circling. Stepped in by Flanagan. Hewer on the back wall. Chased down by Martin. Edmonton coming out. Edmonton up top. Edmonton shot in, goes wide. This is going to be picked up by Martin and cleared. It's going to roll the length, and that'll be an icing with 1 minute and 56 seconds remaining. As play resumes, we'll have Dobbs out there with Cruciano, Morton, Flanagan, Bowman. Out front, turned aside. Now picked up by Morton. Morton looking up by, off the half wall. Trying to get it to Flanagan. Morton coming through. Flanagan clearing it up. Getting it up to Cruciano. Picked up now by Bowman. Bowman sending it deep. 1:33 on the clock. Down behind the net is Edmonton. Edmonton up the half wall. Chipped out and gets up into neutral where it's sent back down deep by Cruciano. I'm sorry, that was not Cruciano, that was Dobbs. Cruciano now behind the Edmonton net. 1 minute and 10 seconds remaining here in the game. Edmonton coming up ice. Defended by Bowman. Bowman stepped in, got her stick on it, comes up ice. Off the boards, looking for Kazarowski. Sends it deep. Going for a change is Morton. Edmonton down in the corner. Coming in is Bellucci. Going across ice. Edmonton now up through neutral. This is going to be defended by Hewer. Edmonton hitting the brakes off the half wall. Coming in through. Shot is going to be blocked out front and sent up the boards by Kazarowski. Puck picked up by Bowman. Over to Flanagan. Across, down into the corner. Out front. Is going to be gloved by Grun. Freeze play with 21 seconds remaining in this period. Sorry, in the game. As play resumes, Dobbs, Kazarowski, Bellucci, Martin, and Morton on ice. Martin stepping in. Tripped up is Bellucci. Edmonton up top, sending it across. Chased down by Morton. Morton clearing it up, finding Bellucci. Bellucci now gaining the zone. 5 seconds remaining. Coming in, Dobbs, one last shot is going to be gloved by Edmonton. That will be the end of Bell Tire's weekend in Minnesota.